Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crochet by Katie Humes. I hope you're having a fabulous day today and I hope you are ready to get to crocheting. So for my very last tutorial, we did the popcorn stitch and I felt like it just was not finished. So I showed you how to do the popcorn stitch and how to do a row in between, but I want to show you how to do it on the wrong side of your work. So pretend you didn't want to put or let's say we don't have to pretend, maybe this is what you want. You don't want to put a row in between. You want to put popcorn stitches directly on top of each other. You can do that. So let's go ahead and pick up exactly where we left off. If you do not have this, you can go ahead and watch part 1 and you can make this exact little sample and then catch back up. Or if you're just wanting to know you're at this side of your work and you want to make a popcorn going that way, I am going to show you that now. So let's chain up 2. And we're going to continue putting the popcorns right on top of each other. I also am going to do one row to show you how to make them not on top of each other. I just felt like my last tutorial was not complete. So this is part 2 of the popcorn stitch. Oh, let me tell you what I'm using. I'm using Minty yarn. It is Red Heart with Love and a 5mm crochet hook. The yarn is 4-ply. I use it for almost all of my tutorials because it's very simple and it's a nice bright color and you can see the stitches very well. So let's start all over. Doop-a-doo. Alright, so we're here. If you watched part 1, you should be here with me. You're going to go ahead and chain 2. Well, turn your work. You can either, I learned that you chain and then turn. But I have been seeing where people turn and then chain. So I've been trying to get away from chaining first because in a lot of the written patterns, it's turn and then chain. So I'm trying to get away from that. So turn your work. Kind of makes a cool little indentation on the back of your work with this chain up 2. And we are going to again do 2 double crochets in here. But it counts as 3 because we have these 3 double crochets. So we have 1, 2, and 3 in the very beginning of our work. And then in between the popcorns, I've been putting 2 double crochets. So if you wanted to put 3, you could. It's just how I made my chain, and it's just how it worked out just fine. All right, to make a popcorn chain on the opposite, we're going to be working into this chain that we made to tighten up the popcorn stitch. That's the one we'll be working in because we're going to be working directly on top of the popcorn stitch. So to find that chain, just look directly down at your work and kind of straighten it out, and it should be right in line with the top. It really looks like a flower to me. So with the top of this flower, and it's just right there, right in line with that. So that's the stitch we're working into. If you're curious about if you can't find the stitch, there's a little circle, and then right under the little circle is that stitch. So what we're going to do is work 5 double crochets into that designated stitch, just like we started. Oops, and I missed it. So you want to be careful. What I just did right there, you want to be careful and work in between. What I did was I went right in this space. We don't want to be in that space. We want to be in this chain space, and it's much tighter, and there's yarn on both sides that's going to hold it in place. So work into that chain. Might be a little tricky getting your needle in there. I mean, it's not a needle, crochet hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So we'll work 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, we're going to drop the loop from the hook again. I'm going to give myself a little more loop though. My yarn is a little bit splitty today. And then we're going to insert the hook from back to front. So we're going to count back 5 still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But instead of inserting it like that, like we did on part 1, we're going to come around and insert the hook the other way. Back to front. Pick up dropped loop and draw through. And then chain 1 to secure it. And that makes it so it's still at the front of your work. Okay, we'll do 2 double crochets in the next 2. And we'll do that one more time. So 5 doubles into this stitch right here. Whoops, it's really tricky to get that first one in. So it's because we crochet it pretty tight right there, it's tricky to get your hook to want to go in that stitch. Once you get your first one in, it's not as hard to get the other 4 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Give yourself a little yarn wiggle room in case it decides to slip out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to front. Pull that a little bit tight. Pull it through, chain 1. And 2 more doubles. 1 and 2. Insert 5 double crochets into this designated stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to front. Pull it tight. Chain 1. And then we'll have 3 double crochets to finish this off, because we started with 3 on the front and 3 on the back. The chain spaces are much harder to get to cooperate. I want it to be a straight line, so hope I'm still on the... There we go, got it. 1, 2. All right, let's flip it and see what that turned out to. So it looks a little different directly on top of each other. Right here we have, let me pull that out a little. Right here we have single crochet in between, and right here we have directly on top of each other. I will meet you right back. I'm going to pull this out. In fact, I'll just pull it out. If you make a mistake, all you have to do is pull it out like this. Sometimes it feels a little sad, but it'll be okay. All right, I'll meet you back, and we are going to do a single crochet, and we're going to put our popcorns in between, just so that you can see what the popcorn stitch looks like right on top of each other with the stitch in between. I just showed you what it looks like with no stitch in between, and also what it will look like crisscross from each other. All right, I'll meet you back in just a minute. We're going to turn our work and chain 1, and we're going to put a single crochet in between all of the stitches this time, the popcorn stitch row. Remember to work only into this stitch right above the popcorn. So we've got 3, and this is our popcorn stitch, and then we will have 2 because we did 2 double crochets in between the popcorn stitch, and then work into that stitch right above the popcorn stitch. And now you should have 2 stitches to work in, and then this stitch right above the popcorn, and now 3 to end this round. 1, 2, and 3. And this one's a little tricky to work into. Alright, that'll just keep everything in line and keep our lines on the edges going straight up and down. Okay, so now we're going to turn our work and chain up 2. And now instead of putting 2 double crochets, we're going to go and put a popcorn stitch right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here. Chain 1. Now we're going to put 2, actually 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to put 3 stitches along right here because we had 3 in the beginning and we put our popcorn stitch over here. 2 and 3. Just kind of eyeball it if it looks like it's going to work out on the right spot. Like if you'd rather have your popcorn to be 1, 2, then 1 right there, or if you would have rather have done a double crochet and then put your popcorn right here, you could have done that. So just eyeball it however you think it's going to look good. I'm going to do 3 here, and then I'm going to remember that I did 3 there because I'm going to do 3 here. So I'm going to go 3, and then I'm going to do my popcorn, and then I'm going to do 2, my popcorn, and then I'm going to do 3, and then my popcorn. And 1 double at the very end because we had a double right here for the chain up. Alright, popcorn. And I'm just doing this so that you can see what it looks like when you don't go directly on top of each other, just in case you're wondering how that's going to look. I kind of like to see what things are going to look like before I'm going to crochet them. It's nice to know, am I going to like the end result of this? Let me know how you're enjoying these tips. I am loving doing this album or playlist. I always want to call it album because Facebook calls them albums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, Facebook calls them albums, so I'm always like, my album on YouTube, and then I'm like, oh, it's a playlist. Let me know how you're liking this playlist. I am really enjoying creating it. I think it's really fun to learn the very basics of crochet, and it's always a nice refresher. Okay, so right here I'm putting 2 double crochets. Sorry, I got to talking. So I did a popcorn and then 3, and you know what? I actually would prefer it with 2 right there. So I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to take this all out. So I took it all out, and I would prefer how it would look with 2. How I was telling you, just eyeball it and see what you like. I eyeballed it and I didn't like what was happening. So after you've turned and chained up 2, we're going to put a double crochet in the next one so that it starts off with 2 double crochets on the row. And we're going to count that chain. I don't always count the chain up as a crochet, but in this specific instance I am. So we did 2, and we're going to put a popcorn here now. Whoops, my yarn split. Did you see that? If it splits, just take a minute and grab it, the rest of the yarn that slides away. 1, 2, 3, 4. because it can cause bumps and stuff in your work. So you definitely want to take the time to pause if your yarn does split. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull it up. I have to count back every time. I hope that doesn't bother you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Chain 1. I think I'm going to like how this, I think I'm going to like how that's going to look much better. Important to note that if you want it to look uniformed, you've got to do it. 2 double crochets now, and now I'll put my popcorn right there. Popcorn, popcorn. This is a fun stitch. Once you get these basic stitches down, it is so rewarding, because then you know what patterns are talking about, and you just understand the way crochet works a lot better. So it has been really fun to refresh my own personal beginner techniques. I love it. So 2 double crochets in the next. And then we're going to do another popcorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think I forgot to mention that this popcorn look can be done with less. I feel like every time I feel like chaining right there, but I don't need to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just need to grab it. Oh, there we go. I'm going to do 2. It needs a 4th one, doesn't it? One, 2. Right? Because of where I started. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. You can totally play around with this. This is actually the first time I've ever done the popcorn stitch in this way. Like I said in part 1, I've only used the popcorn stitch to make fingers for amigurumi pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because sometimes amigurumis, when you're making hands, you use these popcorn stitch, but you don't do as many. You just do like 2, and then you make your popcorn, and then it turns it into a finger. That sounds kind of creepy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, I need one more. Amigurumi work is my favorite, but like I said, getting the basics down makes it so much easier to understand what you're doing. And anyway, I like doing the basic stitches as well. And then I put 2 over there. This isn't working. My math is really off, guys. I apologize. I just felt like it needed one there since it had one there, but it's really off because it's 2, 2, 2, and then it has 2 on the end. And if I put another one, it's just gonna make this start going like this. So anyway, that's how you can make it offset from each other, off-centered. And I think if you wanted to, go back up, do this row, you could put 3, and then right here you could just do 1 and then make them go, you could make them go like this, zigzaggy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you like part 2 of the popcorn stitch. Like I said, it just felt like a very incomplete tutorial when I finished. So I hope that you enjoyed part 2, and I hope you're having a fabulous day, and I hope this popcorn tutorial brightened up your day. You have a wonderful day. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoy my content and my channel and my tips, I would appreciate your subscription. You have a wonderful day. Bye!